In our last video, we drove several hours to a city in Brazil called Joinesville. And after over a year since our spare tire and rim had been stolen from us in Peru, we were finally able to find a replacement. There it is. It may not be pretty, but it sure makes us feel a little safer in our van to have a spare tire again. After that, we drove another hour or so and we found an incredibly peaceful, crystal clear river to park up next to and sleep for the night. We woke up this morning to birds chirping all around, a beautiful fog and silver clouds over the mountains that are all around us. What is amazing about Brazil is that these mountains just go right up to the coastline all along here, so you have tropical beaches with beautiful mountains. It truly is a beautiful sight to see. And now let's see if we can find some of these birds with the big camera. There is a road that literally crosses the river here. Brings a whole new meaning to river crossing. You guys think we should drive our van across that? The garbage truck goes across it. I think our van could do it. What do you think? This campsite is a little small restaurant with a bunch of little picnic tables and barbecue grills right along this river. It's designed for day use. Locals come out here for a day of fun and swimming in the river. She lets a few people camp here. And look at there, big surprise. I just found Curt filming the birds. Some of the locals have been telling us that El Nino, which is a weather phenomenon that comes around every, several years, it's particularly bad this year, hitting the whole globe pretty hard. But it's been bringing a lot of tropical type weather waves across Brazil, more than normal, bringing some pretty heavy rain, causing these little local rivers to do some flooding. Now it hasn't rained in a few days here, but you can see they have had some flooding activity here. Hopefully nothing bad enough to hurt the locals. As we drove to this campsite last night, about 1 mile south of here before we got here, we crossed over the state line. We have left the state of Santa Catarina and crossed into Parana. Now, if you're an English speaker like us, you would call it Parana. But we quickly learned that is not how it is pronounced here. So we're in the state of Parana, and we'll continue to head north today when we leave here. If I can ever get Curt to leave here with all these birds.
There's a lot of colors, I don't know where to go. See a lot of colors, only feeling blue. There's a lot of colors, lost within a haze. Don't rely on others to get you through the maze. The dreams are not the same for me. Standing by the shore while you're on the open sea, cannot take this anymore. There are a lot of voices drowning in the sea. There's too many voices talking back at me.
Whoa, it gets pretty deep through there. So traveling by motorcycle is very popular in here, and these guys had the day off.
Hello.
Hey, and so they decided to take a ride over here. Where are y'all from?
We are from Jaraguaçu.
Jaraguaçu. So it's about 80 kilometers from here, and they just rode the motorcycle across the river. Of course, we've seen some big trucks. It was a little bumpy, wasn't it?
It was.
So anyway.
I wet my feet.
Oh, it did. I saw you had them up like that, though. But anyway, here's a card. This is our channel. So yeah.
All right, it is almost time to get the van ready to roll out of here and keep heading north. But that group of Brazilian motorcycle riders was awesome. And as we were leaving, so one of them spoke English. And as we were leaving, he told us this is the first time he spoke English to an actual person from the United States. And he did an awesome job. So one thing we encounter is they're always excited to practice their English with us. And it's just pretty cool that that's the first time he's talked to an American.
Yeah, super nice, super
Yeah.
cool. And but and this is a cool little place, but it was an overnight stop, and we saw these birds and had decided to just stay for a little longer. I put out a little photo shot with a banana to try to get the birds to come in.
Worked.
We got some cool birds.
And I looked over at the van, and there was actually birds on the mirror. So it playing with the window. So I know that Vanna was going crazy inside and having a good time.
But we're gonna get on the road. We have plans to go north. We have about 2 more months to explore Brazil, but we are headed north. We're going to today explore a historically colonial city, so we don't know what that's going to be all about. And we have some more jungles to explore. So we are fired up, especially given what we have seen right here at this random little stop. I believe the name of this town is Morretes. Morretes. In any event, we have reached the town, and as we have moved north, now you guys probably know by now, it's winter time here in Brazil, but as we move north, it's getting warmer, and it is about 81 degrees today. And it is sunny. And there are a lot of banana trees and palm trees and monkey trees and rivers. And the rivers kind of have a brown tint to them. However, the water in most of them we've seen is crystal clear. We made it to our wild camp spot. And if you look out our slider, this is our view for the night. And a really quaint little town. Snow and I are gonna go for a walk. I can't wait to show you guys. I can't wait to see it myself. She already had a long walk. He absolutely loved it here. There's lots of butterflies and birds. But we're fixing to go explore this little town area. So we just crossed over the bridge there, and the first little turn off here is a closed road, pedestrian road, and it looks like this is the road down by all the shops and stuff. The way they pronounce the town is Morretes. Morretes. And obviously we're in the state of Parana, which we called Parana.
So this is Morretes, Parana to us.
Yeah.
It's Morretes, Parana.
Yes. I turned my head and snow was gone. And I saw this cool little artisanal shop, and I saw these 2 dresses they had on display out front. And I thought, oh, Snow should try one of those. And then I turn around and I can't find her. The reason I couldn't find her is because unbeknownst to me, she went back into the dressing room and was already trying it on. It's not a dressing room. Oh, look at these. So this is a tribute to their food. And I'm sorry about the lighting, guys, but this is bananas. Up there are red peppers. You have watermelon here. and it looks like avocado, apple, lime, pear, maybe strawberry, and tomato. I'm not sure that there's other fruits that quite frankly I don't know the names of. Owls, dogs, of course the cookware, which is very traditional, and then these dolls and these figurines, which are absolutely fascinating. We saw them in the restaurant on the way in, and they are all over this little place. So this is a little indigenous culture place. So cool. And I think Snow's actually gonna get a dress. I like that one. It's like you're on fire. That girl is on fire. Oh, fuego. I went in and found Snow. You guys saw her. She was shopping, and it turns out there was some bartering involved. And it's clearly one of those cultures. They kind of announced that indirectly. So what happened, Snow? You were gonna buy one. What happened? Tell the story.
All right, so I was gonna get one, and it would have been 180 reales. And then she said, okay, if you get two, which you can now see I did, it'll be 160 reales a piece. That would have been 320 for two of them. I got one with sleeves, one without sleeves. And this is one of my favorite colors. I had to get it. So I told her I would take both for 300. So what is 300? $60?
Yeah.
So $30 a dress. Indigenous dress, really cool stitching.
Hand stitched.
Comfortable. And we've been kind of lax with our clothing because we've been down here in like hiking land, doing Patagonia and stuff like that. But we're headed to Europe, where every once in a while we'll be strolling around little streets with cafes. I got to step my clothing game up a notch.
There you go. She just did.
Two dresses, $60, with a fun story behind them that they're indigenous dresses from Brazil.
And she pulled the trigger right away. She knew what she wanted. She went out and got it, and now we're gonna go get something to drink.
Yeah, maybe a coffee. Or Curt, I think, is craving a beer.
We'll see. We never know. Oh, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the van's right over there across the river. So this is what we're looking at.
Town.
Obrigado.
So what's cool about that guy is he's serenading us over there in the van. When we first got here, we just opened the door a little bit for the kiddies. Got G out for a walk, let Vanna sit by the screen door, and that music just carries across, so it's like our own private entertainment. Nice.
Let's grab one of these tables right here. What'd you get, Snow?
I got a limonada. I can't help it. I like it. Well, it's also, but it came out like a slushy. It's got lots of fine little ice in it. And it looks, oh, it's smoking. It's so cold.
Un jarra,
Nice,
un
because
limonada.
Gotta be 85 degrees. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. How is it?
Oh, it's good. And I get my limonada because down here they're freshly squeezed or juiced. And it's without sugar, so it's very tangy. It's good. All right, so this town started a long, long time ago, back in the 1700s, with a few of these big, beautiful mansions starting along this riverbank here. And the church was actually started in 1770, I believe. They did not actually construct the existing church and cemetery until around 1800, the 1860s. So it took a while to actually build the church we just showed you. But along this riverbank, there's some big mansions with some pretty cool history. And a lot of people come to this town, and it's kind of turned itself into a little tourist destination because there is a tourist train that runs through this valley of those big rolling green hills that we drove through to get here. And this is one of the stops. So you get off, you have lunch here. They have a famous dish that this region is known for, and we're gonna hopefully try to find a restaurant where we can get that and try it tonight. But the city, how do you say the name, Curt? No, this city.
Oh, this city?
Yeah, Morretes. But it gets its name from Moro, which in Portuguese means hills. And it is surrounded by big, green, beautiful hills. So it's a cool little town. It actually surprised us. We didn't expect for it to be such a neat little city square along the river here with a lot of culture. Snow and Curt, we're here.
Oh.
We got an early start this morning and left our fun little campsite right there by the river in that cool little small historical town. Today we are heading up deep into the Atlantic forest region. Now the Atlantic forest is important to the environment and Brazil is doing a good job of preserving it. We're headed to an area that is protected. It's supposed to be amazing and we could not be more excited. Now when we left this morning there was a haze of fog everywhere making everything look kind of cool, and as we drive out this way the haze is burning off and revealing beautiful mountains in the background and the trees along this road. Just the road to this place is getting us excited. We have turned off of the 2-lane rural paved road onto I'm gonna call it a firm gravel road with potholes.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah, there's a little bit of asphalt, a little bit of concrete, some rubble. Anyway, it's not too bad, but it is potholed. But that's okay, because this is the kind of road you're going to want to be able to pull over and stop if you see something anyway. We would have had a hard time doing that on the paved rural road out there. Our eyes are peeled looking for wildlife.
All right.
Hello.
We saw a cool bird here, and we believe it is a trogon. And trogons are almost like a quetzal. I think they're related, but this one's blue, and he's got a yellow underbelly. Now, the yellow underbelly you can't see unless he flies, so we need to catch him flying. But I believe snow's on him right here.
Once we turned off on this dirt road, we had 40 miles to go until we get to our destination, which is okay because it's a cool road. We are about 6 or 7 miles in, so we still have quite a ways to go. But one thing that is fascinating about this road is we go through so many different types of environments. You can be in a wetland, drive 200 feet and be climbing up a little mountain hill in a thick pine forest, come down the other side of the hill and it's covered in palm trees. I mean, it just changes so fast and so drastically. The different environments out here is pretty cool, isn't it, Curt?
Yeah, it's really cool. Birds, beautiful flowers, beautiful flora. I mean, it's just, and there's birds chirping everywhere. They're just so hard to put a lens on.
Yeah, but we did see that one really cool Trojan already. Trogan. Did I call it a Trojan? I called it a Trojan. Trogan. Yeah, so where we're headed, there are trails, so we'll be able to walk through some of this thickness. Out here, in the middle of this beautiful Atlantic forest on this bumpy dirt road, we found a cafe. Which one did you get?
I got chicken, frango, and queijo.
Chicken and cheese.
And the picante salsa is
Really good. Is it super hot or should I try it? A little bite, tiny.
It's medium hot.
It took about 10 minutes to get these. And they're fresh. Yeah, they're so good.
So good.
I don't know if we're saying it right, but it's spelled pastels.
Pastels.
Pastel. And they are yummy. Now my favorites are the banana cinnamon ones. So sometimes you can get them sweet. Sometimes they're savory.
I like them with the Brazilian chocolate. Brazil has the best chocolate.
All right, we're diving into our snack before we continue on. So I got palmetto and cheese. So heart of palm, which is everywhere down here. And I think we're driving through an area where they actually probably grow and harvest it. And it's one of my favorite things forever. So anytime I see it on the menu, I get happy. Mine is heart of palm and cheese, and it is tasty.
We have a new driver, which means I get to stare into the jungle now and look for wild critters and birds. But we just had that pastel, and Also, the whole family came down, so they live up on the hill. The mother and the 2 daughters came down. We had a nice conversation using the translator.
The pig came down.
And we learned a new word, legal, which we see a lot, which is cool.
Cool.
And it's spelled legal, L-E-G-A-L, but it's pronounced legal. So
Legal. These people were legal.
legal.
When we started out this morning, the Google told us 2.5 hours. That usually means 3. But with this road, it has turned into 5. This has been a 5-hour bumpy adventure through some beautiful landscapes, but all of us, including the kiddies, are super glad that we are only 11 minutes away from the park, the national park, or the reserve, and our campsite.
We're out.
We had hoped to get an early start this morning, but we woke up to a very heavy fog / rain. And we had kind of waited for it to burn off. It has not. We're not going to wait anymore. We're heading on out. We had read about the Atlantic coastal forest region of Brazil, but of course we had never seen it until we got here. And also from talking to some of the locals that work out here at this reserve, we have found out that although there are lots of animals here, it's actually very difficult to see them or find them. And if you do see them, it can be just a glimpse because this forest is incredibly dense. There are a few trails carved through here, but they tell us even the trails are narrow and that our best bets are when we're walking along these roads, hoping that something's right along the edge. Now, of course, that disappoints us a little because we want to see all the animals. But I can promise you that we hear them, and we're doing our best to try to see them and video them for you guys. I want to also let you know that this area of Brazil is very important to the environment, not just locally, but as a world, the world environment. There are not many regions of this kind of forest anywhere that still exist in the world. There are a few, but this is definitely one of the largest and one of the most protected. So in addition to the famous Amazon that Brazil's helping the world to protect, in the north of the country, there's this very large region of Atlantic coastal forest where they're doing the same thing. Now, a lot of it's government protection, but there's also a lot of private citizens stepping up. So, and sometimes it's a partnership. Now, let's go see what we can find. All right, looks like we got a suspension bridge. My favorite. Oh.
All right, Snow has an all too familiar history with these suspension bridges. Now when she gets on them and they start rocking and rolling, she invariably blames me. So I'm gonna let her get out there a little bit on her own, so she cannot blame me.
It's a wobbly bridge, isn't it? Yeah. Whoa.
So when we come to these places, we never know what to expect. However, we were expecting that we would find birds. And we were super excited to explore the Atlantic forest. And we were disappointed this morning when we woke up and it was misty and raining. But we're coming through this forest and there are just little bird sounds everywhere. And I can tell you, as Snow said earlier, this forest is thick. And we're able to hear the birds. And even with my Merlin app, I'm able to call some in a little bit. But shooting them through these vines and leaves and trees. And also there's so many little seeds and berries and buds from these trees I mean, it's clear that this is a food-rich environment for them. But they're active this morning and they're just buzzing around, eating and picking away, so they'll land and pick at something for a couple seconds and then they're taking off again. And you can't use automatic focus in this scenario because you'll focus on the leaf in front of the bird. So you gotta find them, lock on them, and focus on them to get them. So it's really an exciting, challenging experience. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful natural park. Wow.
I just got buzzed by my second hummingbird. I'm wondering the way they come flying up to me and then stop and flutter and buzz around me for a minute and then back off. I'm wondering if they are attracted to my bright blue raincoat. Maybe I look like a giant flower. We have made it to the end of the pretty sidewalk trail and entered the part that is a little more natural, which means the trail got a little more bumpy and rooty, but it's pretty.
Guys, I want you to see this little frog right here. He hopped out in the trail and he's got a pointy nose. And then he's got like very sharp ribs, almost like he's got backbones or something like that. Yeah, if we can get a little lower, it looks like a leaf. He almost got like a snapping turtle head. He's kind of brown. I think he's got about 3 toes in the front. But it's a little frog. Oh, there he goes, hopping. Hopping. He does look like a leaf.
Yeah.
And he's just disappeared in there, guys.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Little frog. He's trying to climb that leaf. So we kind of been dodging the rain all day today. One of the things is the canopy of this forest kind of steals it all before it hits the ground, or us anyway. But it's picked up, gone away. We can hear the rain on the leaves of the trees and it sounds pretty cool. As we climb up this way, what we're starting to hear is the sound of a waterfall. Look at that. That is much bigger than I thought.
It is.
Much.
Something,
Like,
isn't it?
that is like 10 times bigger than I thought.
I mean, even though you don't have the wide open view of it, you're looking at it through the trees, that almost makes it a little like more mystical, especially with that mist and the rain out there. That is something. And that's a pretty one.
The rain is definitely picking up here. And what's going on, Snow?
Well, I'm going to stay here at the Mirador. I'm not going to go any farther. The trail's getting slippery. We didn't bring my rocking sticks, my walking sticks. And the trail honestly was a little farther than we thought. So I'm going to wait here at this beautiful Mirador. Kurt's going to go explore the end, which I don't think is very far. Then he's going to come back and we're going to ease our way out of here in this rain.
All right, here we go, guys. And you can see this trail is like a red dirt road. It is clay. There's a little green moss kind of growing on the walls and rocks through here. And this environment is like this almost all the time. And now we're actually going over a little dry riverbed, but I'm sure at times that thing flows water. Hopefully, it's supposed to rain the next couple days, so hopefully we get out of this little area before then. But this is a nice little trail. Let's get up here, guys.
The rain just started coming on down. It is raining hard out there. Luckily, we're under the tree canopy, so it's helping protect us a little bit. But I got the umbrella protecting me and the big camera. We've got a nice, comfortable bench. We're waiting on Curt to get back. Then we need to boogie it on out of here, guys. It's this trail might get nasty on our way out, and the roads might be a mess. We'd planned on spending another night here We may need to get on out of here if this rain's gonna continue all day.
So we kind of dropped down on this trail since we left snow, and these rocks are slippery, but we've dropped down along the water here, and look at this. We are coming up on the base of this huge waterfall, and it is more stunning than I anticipated. I did not know this thing was this big. This is pretty cool. And unfortunately in this weather I cannot fly the drone, so I won't be able to show you guys that perspective. But look at this. All right guys, I found a little crevice over here under a boulder to hide from the rain. Try to get a few shots, but I'm gonna have to get going. It's raining pretty hard. We need to get back to the van and we need to get out of here. This road's not one you want to be driving on when a storm comes in.
We were back and forth there as we were walking to the van. The rain was definitely heavy, not thunderstorm, crazy monsoon rain, but a heavy, heavy rain. And we were like, do we stay another night and try to pull out of here in the morning? Do we get in the van? Do we go? We got in the van and we were making a really quick lunch because we were starving. And I got a yellow alert, heavy rain warning pop up on my phone. So we gobbled down our food. We are headed out of here. We just said goodbye to the wonderful people at the park. It is a great park. It is done up beautifully. But we got to get out of here and get off this road. So here we go. 4 hours of bumpy and this time muddy roads. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys!